What's good, everybody? It's the Clown with Cam show. NFL Week 6 was another disaster for me. I'm down. Overall, throughout the year, I'm down about $500. It's just part of sports betting as part of the NFL. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's easy on certain weeks. This week, overall, I cashed out definitely on my Indianapolis Colts. They finally got the dub. Even though Jonathan Taylor's out, they're looking better with Joe Flacco at quarterback than Anthony Richardson. That's just how it goes. They just look way better. I'm just looking at the Colts, dissecting them, and realizing they're probably not going to make the playoffs this year. Even if they did, it'd be a long shot for them to really go above the pinnacle and get to the top. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference there, but overall this weekend wasn't bad. There was a lot of running backs that hit on a crazy 12-legger. I mean, it's insane. Derrick Henry, number one running back in the NFL, number one fantasy running back. So if you didn't go Derrick Henry, you're pretty ignorant. You like to listen to the media, what they have to say, and it's always void the media. Don't listen to the media whatsoever, because typically when they're all over a certain team, more than likely they're not going to hit. That team's not going to win. But shout out to my Indianapolis Colts finally getting a big win. You had 49ers. I had them winning. Deebo Samuel anytime touchdown. That bad hit. Shout out to the San Francisco 49ers. And then we had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the New Orleans Saints. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are legit. Baker Mayfield is going crazy this year, and a lot of people writing him off. I mean, he's a top 5 fantasy quarterback right now. Baker Mayfield, 4 touchdowns, 325 yards against the New Orleans Saints. He did have 3 picks. Chris Godwin scored 2 tutties. I mean, Tampa Bay's looking real nice. I mean, Tampa Bay's the team that, hey, they could arguably go deep in the playoffs this year. So, shout out to Baker Mayfield. Tampa, he's winning. Win for Tampa. Take off Tampa. Take off Indianapolis Colts. Then we had the London game, the Chicago Bears and Jacksonville. I had Jacksonville. I thought for sure Jacksonville would give them a better game. But, you know, it goes to show you that, yeah, Jacksonville, they're trash. They're really trash. They're just who they are. Trevor Lawrence is not who they thought he was. He's an okay quarterback, but when it's all said and done, he's just not the typical quarterback to win you a Super Bowl. But a huge win for the Bears. Caleb Williams coming on strong. 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. I don't care if he paints his toenails or fingernails. It doesn't matter. He gets wins. He wins big games in big situations in Chicago. That's all they care about. They could care less if he paints his nails. If you guys are hating him on that, you're just a hater. Caleb Williams is a multimillionaire in America. What's the hate about him? Take off Caleb Williams. What a win for the Chicago Bears. Then we had the Houston Texans. That was probably the easiest pick all weekend, was the Texans over the trash New England Patriots. The Patriots haven't been relevant since the GOAT Tom Brady left. So, you know, as far as the Patriot goes, if you're going to bet on the Patriots, don't do it. They're trash. They're absolutely garbage. So, you know, whatever the Patriots, they're trash. Then we had the Washington Commanders versus the Ravens. I knew this would be a locked game. I knew it would come down to the wire. And shout out to Washington, man. I mean, they battled through. Even though Baltimore won this game, shout out to Lamar Jackson, a touchdown and a pick. Derrick Henry, 132 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jane Daniels had 2 touchdowns as well, but it wasn't enough. Baltimore won by just a touchdown, which is a really close game. But I'm telling you right now, Jaden Daniels, he deserves to be in the MVP race right now of the league. Not just Rookie of the Year. I'm talking MVP of the National Football League. Shout out to Jaden Daniels. Shout out to Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. They're rolling. Looks like the Ravens can literally win almost every single game the rest of their schedule left. Now, are they going to win every single game? No. They're going to lose a couple more games, but as far as the Ravens making the playoffs, they will make the playoffs this year, 110%, and they can make a deep run. Who knows how that's going to happen, but I think it starts with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. If they play how they're capable of playing, they can do it. They can win. So, you know, the sky's the limit for the Baltimore Ravens. Take off Baltimore. Then we had Philly winning an ugly game against the trash Cleveland Browns. The Browns are just garbage. Deshaun Watson's garbage. Too many handies in the spot. I don't know what it was, but he's done. As far as his NFL career is continuing to grow, that is done. Deshaun Watson is over with. The era in there is done with Deshaun. But shout out to Philly. They got a close win. However, Philly just doesn't look the same. They don't. I think they need to fire their head coach. Their head coach just looks like a punk, you know, talking crap to the fans. Just always looks mad about life. I don't know what it is, but he just looks pissed off about life. He looks mad about reality. Looks like he just, you know, doesn't even want to live. So it's just like, how do you want that guy in the locker room when you got one of the arguably best running backs in the league in Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts, one of the best quarterbacks, and yet you guys are barely scraping by against the trash Cleveland Browns? Man, I feel like the Jets should have kept their head coach and fired the Philly coach. Philly coach is trash. but a big win by Philly. And then we had the Green Bay Packers beating up on the Arizona Cardinals. That was expected. I knew that would probably happen. Green Bay's legit. Shout out to Jordan Love, man. I mean, Jordan Love this year, 4 touchdowns in this one game against Arizona and 1 pick. But overall, this whole season, Jordan Love has 12 touchdowns and 6 picks. I mean, he's putting up good numbers, solid numbers. And Green Bay's on a roll right now. And I think Green Bay is a scary, scary team come playoff time. I can't wait to see what develops there. Shout out to the Green Bay Packers. And then we got the LA Chargers beating up on the trash Denver Broncos. Even though Denver right now is 3-3, they're 500. This was a must-win for the Chargers, and they got it done. You know, shout out to Jim Harbaugh. He's just a great coach, man. Coming from Michigan, just won a national championship. The NCAA wanted to do some fooky things to Jim Harbaugh, but at the end of the day, Jim said, peace out. NCAA has way too much power. I'm going to the NFL, the cream of the crop of football. That's what I'm going to do. And he said, peace out. You know, he literally was one play away from 2013 Super Bowl championship against his brother in Baltimore. One play away. That's crazy, right? Then he goes on to win in Michigan the championship last year. Now, what can he do in Chargers this year? Well, right now, they're above 500. They're looking nice. Shout out to Jim Harbaugh and the LA Chargers. Take off. Let's go! And then we got the Pittsburgh Steelers beating the Las Vegas Raiders. This was one of the second easiest pick all weekend. I had Pittsburgh money line all day. Najee Harris did score a touchdown. I'm surprised with that because typically Najee Harris hasn't scored many touchdowns this year in Pittsburgh. He just hasn't. Najee Harris has been in and out, just very inconsistent for Najee Harris numbers. So that's just how it goes. But, you know, shout out to the Pittsburgh Steelers and Justin Fields. The Chicago Bears rode off Justin Fields. This year, Justin Fields is locked in. Over 1,000 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, only 1 pick this year. So shout out to Justin Fields, man. He's continuing to get better, continue to grow. Take off Pittsburgh Steelers. And then we had the Detroit Lions beating up on the Dallas Cowboys 47-9. It was over by the end of the third quarter. It was just crazy. It was just a beat up. Even though Aiden Hutchinson is out with a broken tibia, that is horrible news for the Detroit Lions. However, I do see Detroit just continue to get better, continue to build on this. Even though they lost a key defensive player, I still think they can run deep in the playoffs this year. Absolutely. You got Gibbs, David Montgomery, Williamson. You got so many great players on Detroit, and I'm not concerned about it. I'm just not, even though Hayden Hutchinson is a great player, I think they can still run deep in this playoffs. And we know the Cowboys and Dak Prescott, they're prima donnas. They suck. They might even miss the playoffs this year. And then we had Atlanta beating up on the Panthers. That was expected. Kirk Cousins didn't have the best game. He had 225 yards and a touchdown. You know, you had Robinson finally get in. It was just all around a good day for the Atlanta Falcons. Much expected. Then we had the Sunday Night Football game. I went all in on the Cincinnati Bengals. That cashed out. Joe Burrow had that 50-yard run. We haven't really seen much of Joe Burrow doing that stuff, but that's what they need to do. If Cincinnati wants to get in the playoffs and make a deep run here, that's exactly what they have to do. Joe Burrow's going to have to extend the play, utilize his legs, and just throw the ball down the field to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. That's what they need to do, and I think the Bengals need to get better on the secondary defense. Their safeties are not playing good. They're not playing great coverage. They're just not. I think they need to work on that overall, but the Bengals, if they continue to play great, they will make the playoffs this year. Then we got the Monday night leg, the Jets versus the Bills. Everybody's going Bills. I would say about 74% of people are going Buffalo Bills. However, I'm not going Bills. I'm going the New York Jets. Why? They got a new coach, a new offensive coordinator, and it's going to be Aaron Rodgers' offense to run. And I think Breece Hall finally comes out of the cushion right now and just takes off tonight. I think Breece Hall, anytime touchdown. I think Garrett Wilson over on yards makes sense to me. And I just think this game right now, the Jets, they got to win. And I see them winning that. The better defense in the Buffalo Bills. And we look at the Bills and say, hey, they're 3-2. Yeah, that's great. I mean, but overall, just like who have they beat? Yes, they beat the Miami Dolphins without Tua, who was already banged up. So, like, it's just easy to say that, but I'm just thinking hindsight here, the bigger picture, and I just think, yes, the Bills, Josh Allen, everything relies on Josh Allen. All the pressure, everything, all on Josh Allen. I think he's kind of playing banged up right now in a way where it's just like, I just want to avoid that. Obviously, you know, this game is really touchy. I want to go Jets, and that's who I'm going to go. I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers here. Even though I love Josh Allen, I think he eats this game. I think it's going to be close. However, I like the New York Jets tonight, the Monday night leg. I'm telling you, that might hit. Who knows? It could go both ways, but I like the New York Jets. They got a new quarterback and new offensive coordinator for Aaron Rodgers, a new head coach, just a whole new system. And when players get a new head coach, they play harder, they play better around them. So that's why ultimately I'm going with them. So Go take off New York Jets. It's Monday night. Take off to my Indianapolis Colts. It's time to become a millionaire. It's the Clown with Cap show. Let's go!